It begins with a tremor, not loud, not sudden, but deep, as if creation itself is groaning, not from fury, but from longing, a longing to be restored, to be heard, to be healed. In Japan, the trembling is no stranger. This land so radiant in beauty, so disciplined in heart, so brilliant in innovation, has felt the pulse of the earth. Again and again, they call it the land of the rising Sunday. But there have been days when the rising sun was hidden by smoke and sorrow, when the sea rose without warning, when silence fell heavier than any quake. In September of 1923, Tokyo and Yokohama fell beneath the Great Kanto earthquake. More than 100,000 lives were lost. The flames outran the people. Streets vanished. And in a moment, an empire wept. In January of 1995, Kobe was shaken in the dark of morning. A 6.9 magnitude quake claimed over 6,000 souls. Modern bridges curled like paper. Buildings crumbled without warning, and Japan stood still. Again. Then, March 11, 2011, the Tohoku earthquake, a 9.0 rupture deep beneath the Pacific. And then came the sea. The tsunami moved not with anger, but with unstoppable force. Entire towns were swept away. Waves rose over 130 feet. Thousands were taken. And then, Fukushima, the meltdown, the invisible fear, the silence after the storm. That day, Japan trembled. In body, yes, but also in spirit. The world watched. The ocean had spoken. But what was it saying? Some say it was natural. Tectonic plates. Science. Just geology. But in hearts around the world, a deeper voice was stirring. Was this only chance? Or was the earth crying out, hoping someone would listen? Japan has learned to live with trembling. It builds with wisdom. It prepares with care. It teaches its children how to stand when the earth moves. And yet, it still shakes. Because even the strongest foundation cannot silence the soul of the earth. When it longs to return to its creator, the Bible speaks of shaking, not only of ground and mountains, but of nations, of hearts, of heavens. In Luke chapter 21, verse 11, it is written, "And great earthquakes shall be in divers places, and famines and pestilences, and fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven." And again in Luke chapter 21, verses 25 and 26, "And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear." These aren't threats, they're invitations, not warnings to destroy, but signs to awaken. Japan sits upon the Pacific Ring of Fire, not as a target, but as a canvas, surrounded by water, marked by resilience, a nation that bows, but not always to the one who formed the sea and the sky. And yet, it may be no accident that this land hears the roar of the sea more often than most. In Isaiah chapter 24, verse 19, it is written, "The earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly." And in verse 20, "The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it." But heaviness is not the end of the story, because even judgment can be a door to mercy. Japan is not forgotten, not punished, perhaps simply chosen to be a sign, a voice, a nation echoing the whispers of heaven. Return. Remember, you are loved. In 2024, on January 1st, the ground shook again, this time in Ishikawa Prefecture. A new year began with trembling, not to terrify, but to remind, a fresh start, a fresh invitation, to turn, to seek, to listen. Because the Bible doesn't just describe disaster, it reveals redemption, not to paralyze us, but to prepare us, not to frighten us, but to awaken us. What if Japan is not enduring random tragedy, but echoing an ancient truth, and every island fled away, and the mountains were not found? Revelation chapter 16, verse 20. But even in this trembling, there is a deeper voice. Whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Romans chapter 10, verse 13. Japan is a nation of islands, surrounded by water, yes, but also surrounded by grace. And maybe, just maybe, this shaking is not the end, but the beginning of a return. They are called the Isles, the Coastlands, the lands afar off. From the ancient scrolls of Isaiah to the final visions of Revelation, the Bible speaks of places beyond the horizon, lands across the sea, waiting to hear the voice of their Maker. Listen, O isles, unto me, and hearken, ye people from far. Isaiah chapter 49, verse 1. Who are these isles? Where are these distant hearts? For centuries, Bible scholars have wondered. Some heard poetry, others saw mystery, but some, they saw purpose. They saw Japan, a nation of islands, set apart in beauty, anchored in tradition, long distant from the gospel, yet never far from God's sight. Could it be that when the Bible speaks of isles waiting for his law, it's whispering across the sea? Toward the east, the isles shall wait for his law. Isaiah chapter 42, verse 4. The isles shall see it and fear. Isaiah chapter 66, verse 19. But not a fear of punishment, a fear wrapped in reverence, a holy trembling in the presence of a God who draws near. Revelation chapter 16, verse 20 says, And every island fled away, and the mountains were not found, not to frighten, but to reveal that even the strongest things we build can shift when heaven begins to speak, because what's being shaken is not just the earth, but everything we've trusted in that cannot last. In Luke chapter 21, it says, There shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear. Luke chapter 21, verses 25 and 26. And yet, this is not the end of the story, because in every roar of the sea, there's a whisper from heaven. Come home, come back, you are still being called. This is not just about Japan. The message is wider, deeper. It stretches to every shore. But Japan, in its trembling, may be echoing what the world must hear. In Hebrews chapter 12, God says, Yet once more I shake not the earth only, but also heaven, that those things which cannot be shaken may remain. What if the shaking is not punishment, but purification? What if it's not the end, but the invitation to return to what is eternal? Japan may be part of something prophetic, not because of judgment, but because of divine mercy. A trembling witness, a nation whose geography becomes a canvas, not a victim, but a voice, not condemned, but called. From the rising of the sun to the place it sets, the name of the Lord will be exalted. From the rising of the sun, even unto the going down of the same, my name shall be great among the Gentiles. Malachi chapter 1, verse 11. And Japan, the land of the rising sun, may be written into that promise, not by coincidence, but by calling. Surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 9. Maybe Japan is not only shaking, Maybe Japan is waiting, not for fear to end, but for truth to arrive. The kind of truth that calms storms, that steadies trembling hearts, that speaks life over ashes, that says, "Peace, be still." This is not a prophecy of doom. It is a calling toward destiny. The Bible does not say the islands will be destroyed. It says, "The islands shall wait for his law." It does not say the coastlands will be condemned. It says, they will see his glory. Isaiah chapter 66, verse 19. But before they see, they must hear. And before they hear, the ground must tremble just enough to wake the heart. The final hour is not marked by a clock. It is a window, spiritual, open, brief, and full of grace. It swings open, not with terror, but with urgency, not to shut us out, but to call us in. And the question isn't, when will the shaking stop? But rather, what is heaven speaking through it? Japan has stood on the edge of deep waters. It has heard the sea cry out. It has felt the ground move under its feet. It has walked through silence after the storm. But maybe the greatest shaking has yet to come. Not a shaking of earth, but of hearts. Because the truest trembling is never physical. It is spiritual. In Haggai chapter 2, verse 6, the Lord declares, "Yet once more I will shake the heavens and the earth, and the sea, and the dry land." And in verse 7, "And I will shake all nations, and the desire of all nations shall come." God shakes, not to scatter, but to stir, to awaken desire, to draw near, to bring back what was always meant to be his. Tsunamis may destroy cities, but they cannot drown the truth. Earthquakes may split stone, but they cannot shake eternal promises. The waves may roar, but they still bow to the voice of their Maker. The Lord on high is mightier than the noise of many waters, yea, than the mighty waves of the sea. Psalm chapter 93, verse 4. He is still Lord, over Japan, over every ocean, over every trembling soul. The book of Revelation does not begin with destruction. It begins with a voice that calls, a voice that reveals, a voice that still speaks today. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. Revelation chapter 2, verse 7. And not just to churches, to coastlands, to distant shores, to every island that waits. Listen, O islands, unto me. Isaiah chapter 49, verse 1. Are we listening? Because the signs are no longer subtle. They are clear. They are global. And yet, they are full of mercy. We see volcanoes erupt, seas rise, islands shift, diseases spread, nations strive, and hearts grow cold. But through it all, God has not stopped speaking. Through every storm, every shaking, every siren that echoes down the shoreline, he still whispers, "Return." And Japan, you are not the problem. You are not a warning. You are a witness. You carry beauty, honor, depth, and in your trembling, you become a symbol, not of fear, but of calling, because prophecy needs a voice. And Japan, you are not just trembling, you are echoing. So the question isn't, will there be more tsunamis? Yes, the earth will groan. Yes, the sea will roar. But the deeper question is, when it comes again, will our hearts be awake? In Joel chapter 3, verse 16, it says, "The Lord also shall roar out of Zion, and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. But the Lord will be the hope of his people." Hope, the word often missing from the news, from the charts, from the forecasts, but never missing from the heart of God. Because hope is the heartbeat of prophecy. God doesn't reveal shaking to punish. He reveals it to prepare, to invite, to save. Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Isaiah chapter 55, verse 6. And verse 7 says, Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him. This is not the story of destruction. This is the story of return, because the shaking is not the end. It's the beginning. It's mercy in motion. It's grace, whispered through waves. And it is God, calling from the sea. Japan, you are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are not doomed. You are dearly loved and deeply seen. You are chosen to be a voice, to awaken what the earth already knows, that at the name of Jesus every knee should bow. Philippians chapter 2, verse 10. Not out of fear, but out of love. Not to tradition, but to truth, to the only one who can still the storm. So let the earth shake, let the waves rise, let the sky grow silent, but let the heart awaken, because this may be the final hour, not to fear, but to return, and the invitation still stands. Whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Romans chapter 10, verse 13. Even on an island, even after the trembling, even now,